All right, so I've reset the envelope. We are back to where we were. Let's take a listen. We still have the room mics, the extra room mics in, and once again, this is the Big Drums Pack Natural Roomy preset. So again, very roomy, and I love this sound. I like a big roomy sound, but again, it's not going to work for every production. Now, instead of using the envelope here, what we could do is select the room mics once again and adjust the fade. Use it the same way, but we'd be a bit more extreme because we're not using the envelope here. All right, so let's take a listen. I'll start pulling the fade to the left for just the room mics, and then we can subdue some of that room sound. A little bit goes a long ways, so any more than this, it's going to start sounding unnatural. Even at 50%, let's reset it. Okay, subtle difference there. If I go down to 35, really start to hear a difference. Let's go back. If I go down, let's say to 17, now things are much shorter, but again, you're still hearing the room. And we could even, if we keep it short like this, we could even bring up the room a bit, the room mics, faders. You hear a little bit of that fade, that cut off on that cymbal there. But again, this is another creative way to get a kind of a different sound. You can raise the volume of the room mics, adjust the fade. Let me bring that up just a bit. That cymbal doesn't get so cut off. So again, just another creative way to subdue that room. Here's where we were. And the reason I'm doing this on just the room mics, adjusting the fade and not the overhead, is typically the overhead doesn't necessarily have a lot of sustain. It's going to depend on the library in the room. If we take a listen to this one, there's not necessarily a lot of sustain anyway. And you could even go through every single mic and find the one that's really, has a lot of that sustain. It's probably going to be the mid or the far. Let's take a listen to the close mic. That does have some sustain. Let's take a listen to the mid. That one definitely does. Of course, the far. Almost seems like the mid has a bit more. Let's just take the ambient mid and far. Actually, let's take a listen to mono. That's not so much room there. Not so much sustain. So let's just take the ambient mid and far and adjust the fade for just those two mics. So I went down to 25%. Let's go back. So very roomy. And we go down, even 17%. I mean, listen to that difference in these room mics. I mean, they're still there. They're still contributing, but they're not as roomy here. So we have a lot of sustain. Again, we're just going to subdue it. And that's not a bad sound in and of itself. It is getting cut off a bit, but in context with everything else, you don't hear it. So again, you don't have to do it for all the room mics. You can do it for individual ones. Pick one, that is maybe the one that has a bit more sustain. But again, the reason I stay away from the overhead is it typically doesn't have a lot of sustain. And many times in different presets, the cymbals are going to be coming mostly from the overhead. You don't want to necessarily cut those off. So let's say we go into the ambient mid and far once again. Let's take the cymbals out of there. We're just loading in the close mics. Again, this is a feature of Superior Drummer 2 where you can load in just individual instruments to, a specific room channel, which is great. Again, we can go pretty extreme because we're still getting the cymbals from the overhead, the ambient close, and the ambient mono. See, it's really getting cut off, but the cymbal does not. So that's just a few ways that you can utilize those envelope settings within the room mics to adjust and kind of subdue a roomy preset that you may have created.